So see, yeah, check that link and see if we're on right now. It's on? That was easier than I thought, dude. We're going to get started here in a few. Let's do it. Awesome. All right. Manny, one more thing, buddy. Manny, do you know how to set up an Instagram Live?
Yeah.
I do not. So maybe when we get going, I think it's...
What are the plus right there? It should be one of the... Oh, yeah.
You can just do, like... I'm going to let you do it and just put the phone right there.
Oh, perfect.
When we get started. Yeah. So we have a live stream going on right now?
Well, I just saw myself walking into this thing.
Yeah.
So you're live streaming?
Live streaming, yeah, through YouTube. This way we can record it, send it out to patients, but also...
I should not walk in front of it.
Ideally, yeah.
Has it already started?
Yeah, it's okay. You can walk in front. It's fine.
My brother does. I'll see what.
Here we go. All right, real quick, guys. Just about 3 minutes left. We'll get going in about 3 minutes here. You want to grab some seats?
No, I can order for some food.
Doing good? Food good? Got some seats right in the front. Yeah, what should be water? Yep.
Oh, when she arrives. When does she arrive?
Let's go, man. Solid. I think we got everything we need. Let's go, baby. Live streaming. Get the Dells, get in here.
Do we start it now?
Oh, you have it like set up and then record.
Yeah, no.
You can just start as soon as we go in.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. Will I forget? Do you know where that ring is that I left?
Good question. Shoot. Let me have
Kinsey questions?
yeah. Let me have Amanda text Kinsey.
I can text her. I don't have
Yeah, she has an office phone.
Okay.
I'll have Amanda text Kinsey to see where it's at.
Alright.
Yeah, we'll get it before you leave, bro. I'm just calling you if I need random stuff.
I know.
But
I hate when you do that.
yeah, we'll get started. Cool. Got a little live stream going, man. Good little turnout here. Good little turnout. What time you got?
But then again, I'm not surprised. 29.
29. All right, you guys good to get started? We'll go and grab a seat if we can, and maybe some standing room only. Here we go, gang. We'll get it rocking and rolling. All right, gang, there are some available seats in the front. There may be a standing room only, though. Some of our partners have one. There you go. Taking shots. LMNT shots. There you go. That's fun. Cool. Yeah, you can get a start. I'll probably just have you guys kind of stand and put around. Cool. Dr. Amanda, can we hit the music here? All right. Well, first off, I want everyone to give themselves a round of applause. What a great turnout tonight. This is incredible. Thank you guys for your support. We do have a lot of people to thank who made this event possible. So I'm going to work my way around the room if I can. We got Steven. He is my financial advisor with the BNI Group. Alex, he set us up on a great whole life insurance policy with our daughter. Right? This says in the Bible, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So we're trying to set up with Adley. He's your guy. We've got David with Movement Mortgage. He helps us. If you need a great loan officer, he is your guy. Nick May in the month of May is your South Carolina, but also North Carolina realtor. He made this possible, so thank you for being here, Nick. Shelly, all the promo items. We've got some new apparel that's coming out. She's your girl. If you need to brand your business, she is the woman to talk to. Who else am I missing that has a orange wristband on? First off, of course, Lilac. Who noticed all the beautiful flowers in here when you walked in? Yes, let's give her a round of applause for that. That was Lilac. You should see there's a flyer on some of the chairs. She has more information. Lilac has done my wife's birthday. She's done Mother's Day just recently, and she was actually kind enough to give some of these flowers here to the office. And then we're also going to talk about she's giving away 3 bouquets tonight. So we're going to talk about how you all can receive those as we get started. So be on alert. Who else we got here? Thank you to the students that traveled up. I got you, Ada. They all came all the way from Spartanburg, South Carolina to help. Right now, all they look like they're doing is eating. So that's on us right there with the cows in training. Miss Ada with Snap Happy Photo. She is our partner. She's taking all the pictures. So if you want a candid photo, she'll catch you. If you want a personal one, maybe with a spouse or guest who you brought, make sure you talk to her on the way out. Who else? And of course, some of our top partners here, the ones that are standing. We've got Demetrius and Terrence. They're with Pierspire Infrared Sauna Studios. They'll actually be discussing some of the benefits as they're experts, like myself, on detoxing, red light therapy. And then I did want to give a highlight to over here as well. We've got Sarah and Connor. They are in 704 Aesthetics. So if you are in the South End area, please make sure you touch base with them. They do some infrared, I believe some cold plunge. You can all look as pretty as Sarah if you go see her at 704 Aesthetics. And then we've got Miss Cindy Franco, the fitness model that's here tonight. She is part of Orange Theory. So if you guys need a great place to work out, she's got some cards, some information as well. And then last but not least, I believe, is just Miss Heather Jacoby with a Shea CBD. And she is part, we actually use her products in the office. For those of you who are current patients, you actually do get a sample of her product when you start with us. So did I miss anyone? I think that's everyone that helps support us. And then Deborah, who's just a raving fan. Talk to her about health coaching. I'll have some other you guys come on up. But thank you guys again for being here. I do want to go right into it. Tonight is about biohacking your body. Right? Who in here has not heard of the term biohack? Oh, don't say that you've all heard it. Okay, thank you, Ada. Some of the experienced people know. So it's kind of this millennial term to help improve how the body functions. But I want to share something real quick, if I may. Something real, something raw, something that just happened into the office about 6 weeks ago, which helped spawn this talk here. A gentleman came in very successfully, kind of was looked like a little bit older version of Connor, super fit, in shape, well-read, could quote all of the latest and greatest health statistics. He talked about circadian rhythms, fasting windows, red light therapy. I mean, he made me feel dumb when it came to health. But one of the things that stood out is as we went into talking about his case, he said, gosh, I still feel exhausted. I feel groggy. I feel tired. I feel worn out. And then he said something in the consult that really blew me away. He said, I feel like I've spent so much time learning about my health that I forgot to live it. And I think there's a unique principle in that because we're all guilty of that, right? We've all done that. We've listened to the podcasts, right? We've liked the reels. We've shared the post. But unfortunately, nothing really changes until we actually implement it. Would you agree? Right? And that's really why this workshop exists tonight. In fact, we're going to close the gap between what we know and what we do. That's how we see tangible results take place with the right tools. So things like the cold plunging, things like the infrared saunas, the red light therapy, of course, fasting, and then the ultimate biohack, which we'll talk about, which is upper cervical chiropractic. So there is an intention for tonight. The intention for you all is to not learn and just take and not do. The intention is to take action. What does that look like for you specifically? I'll touch base on what those wristbands mean. All of you received the wristband, but that's going to help spawn us to make sure we're having our nervous system working like it's supposed to. None of these biohacks will work to their full potential unless your nervous system is functioning. So the goal is to make sure your nervous system is functioning. Is that a fair ask for everyone tonight? Yes. Yes or yes? Awesome. Well, let's go right into it. Don't be this guy. Too many books, not enough action. So biohacking, what is it? right? We're using science and lifestyle factors to basically optimize how the body works, right? And the goal is upgrade. Who in here wants to upgrade their health in 2025? All of us. Only half of us? All of us, right? I like to think of it as this. To put it in summary, biohacking is creating a voluntarily external resistance to create a healthy internal change. Okay? It's voluntarily creating an external external stress to create an internal resistance. All right? And there's a few ways that we can biohack our bodies, right? Cold exposure, which we're going to have that opportunity tonight. Those ice bowls there are not for show, right? Infrared sauna, red light therapy. We're going to talk about fasting, one of the ultimate biohacks that this culture doesn't really enjoy. And then, again, the ultimate biohack, like I said, upper cervical chiropractic. Who's ready to get started? You guys ready to go from information into activation or what? Yeah. Let's go right into it. Yes or yes? Yeah. So, cold plunging and cold showers. Some of the benefits with cold plunge. Who in here has done a cold plunge? Wow. Good majority. Who in here wants to talk about their experience with cold plunging before I go into the research? Anyone? Jennifer? Go ahead. Mm. Sweet. That's great. The brown fat and the white fat. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Awesome. Yeah, give Jennifer a hand. That's great. Thank you. They bought one. It's so good they bought one. So what chemicals are released? Basically, this thing called dopamine. Now, I think dopamine sometimes can get mixed up with the feel-good hormone. That's serotonin. But dopamine is that allows you to pursue a goal. It keeps you motivated. Has anybody lacked motivation recently? Yeah, your dopamine levels are probably at a significant drop in baseline. Too much unhealthy food, too much doom scrolling, right? This will help bump up the dopamine. It's going to create mental resilience, stimulating something called the vagus nerve, right? The vagus nerve controls 90% of our body's physiology. Who thinks that's important to take care of? Absolutely, right? It's going to reduce inflammation, speed up muscle recovery. So how do we start, guys? I want to make sure we take the information into activation. So this is what you can do when you get home. First off, try a cold shower. Costs you nothing. Who in here is ready to take a cold shower right now? We won't do that, right? Well, from my experience, no matter how groggy I am in the morning, if I just swallow that frog and I take that cold shower, nothing will get me back in the bed. That's the power of hitting a cold shower in the morning. Now, cold plunges, if you want to be more advanced, again, we're starting here. Jennifer, what is your temperature usually around when you do it? 50 and 60. The lowest? Yeah, I've done 42 before. Actually, I've done 39. Wouldn't recommend. But yeah, 2 to 3 times. And then the real focus with this is you want to focus on nasal breathing. Because when you get in there, and then you freak out and you have to jump out. So the goal is to get calm, right? You've got the external stress. You're creating that internal resistance as to, I'm okay. And this will help prepare you for other life stresses that you have to go through. So how about the research, right? I wanted a deep dive for you guys. You had talked about the brown fat. So anybody ever heard of brown fat before? I know all the health gurus in here, right? So brown fat, correct me if I'm wrong, is the fat that surrounded your organs, right? But it's actually, in some cases, it's good. When we do cold exposure, it activates our brown fat. All right? It activates it because it's highly vascularized, right? And it helps burn white fat. So white fat is the fat that we don't like, the love handles, the cellulite, the adipose tissue, right? So doing cold actually helps us burn fat. How cool is that? It's going to improve our mood and focus. What's the focus or mental state when you get out of a cold plunge? You depressed and sad? No. What do you like? You're ready to go. You're at the very least alert, right? And we need that. We're going to do it in just a second here. Talk about building stress via this process called hormesis. Again, that's basically voluntary external stress to create that internal resistance, and it's going to help with cardiovascular health. All right? So, to recap, if you guys want to take notes, in fact, I want everyone to have their phone here so they can take notes on their phone. We'll have a call to action at the end. So keep your phone handy. But these are just a quick summary when it comes to cold exposure and the benefits. 250x increase in dopamine, 3 to 5 times, and you want to do it 2 to 3 minutes for those times. So what I'd like now, who would like to volunteer? I need 3 volunteers who are mentally strong. Eric, right? Eric? Jennifer, you can come up. I need 1 more. They don't know what they're doing yet. Now we need 1 more. Who in here wants to break? Come on, Nick. Let's come on up here. All right, gang. So let's do 2 and 1. All right. So I'm gonna have you on the end, Eric, you on the end, Miss Jennifer, you in the center there, and we've got 2 on the ends. We're gonna do the same thing, and you in the middle are gonna do something different. So we're gonna go 30 seconds, Jennifer, for you. We're all gonna do it at the same time. You're gonna go 30 seconds, just hands. And then, gentlemen, we're going to do, hopefully you can hold your breath for 15 seconds. You're going to dip your face in there.
Oh, God.
All right? Let me get them some paper towels. Give me 1 sec. Where's it? Can you give me some paper towels right over there? Give me 1 sec. I'm going to get some paper towels here. All right? And then can someone volunteer to be a timer? We're going to go 15 seconds for the gentleman and then 30 seconds for them. Hey, you can just bring the whole thing over here. Bring the whole roll. Pause the timer. I know, I usually am. We'll put these right here for now. All right, here we go. We're all going to go at the same time. 3, 2, 1, go. Doing great. All right, so we'll continue the rest of the presentation while they stay like that. Whoa! How we doing, Demetrius?
15 seconds.
15 seconds. You can come on up, Eric. Good job. That's tough here. Let me give you that. 7 seconds.
I could sit here all day.
There you go.
I could have done that.
Cool. So real quick, guys, before you sit down, just maybe talk about 2 things. 1, what you're experiencing, and then what kind of forced you to come up?
No, I mean, your body, I started wanting to breathe real quickly. So it was kind of a shock at first, and then my body just wanted to start breathing, and you can't, so then you start panicking a little bit.
And just to help you, it sounds like they're trained. They have one at their house.
Y'all you put me professionals there. So
again, just a good principle. Don't jump right into this, right? Anything with health, you've got to do this progressive overload. So awesome. How about you, Miss Jennifer? What do we feel with the hands? You look like you could have fell asleep like that.
I could have, but they didn't.
Okay. Well, you can go and do the face later on if you want.
I'm not.
I know, I'm just kidding. Eric, how about you? I know you're used to this, but anything that we experience, kind of just this go around with our face.
I mean, it's obviously cold. It's a shock to your system if you're not used to it.
Yep.
I'm just kind of used to dipping my head in, getting underwater in the cold, so it wasn't as shocking. But I will say the first time we got a cold plunge, and the first time I did it, she was a trooper. She was able to go into it. I could only stay there like a minute. I mean, it was my hands, because I guess the muscles, there's not a lot of fat around your hands and wrists and your ankles and your feet. It was painful. I mean, excruciating pain to try to stay in there. So, but once I started getting used to it, you could stay in there much longer. So like you said, the cold showers, I mean, it's a good start. It can be a little uncomfortable at first, but once you start doing it, it gets easier over time. You just got to push yourself through that and keep going.
Awesome. Let's give them a round of applause. Come on. How cool is that? You guys can go take a seat. Thank you, man. If you need more paper towels, we got you. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. Thank you. So if anyone else wants to come up and do it, we'll have these later towards the end. Let me move this out of the way here. That was super fun. We did not practice that prior. I was going to say, at the very least, do you think you can fall asleep now after doing that? No, of course not.
They're dying to do it over here.
They're dying to do it. Of course they are. The students are always trying to do something, right? So I'm going to briefly touch on this, but I'm going to bring up an expert to talk on infrared saunas as well as red light therapy, right? Now, I use these things religiously as of recent, but I want to have someone, an expert, talk on the benefits. You guys can see some of them here, but I have Demetrius from Pierspire Infrared Sauna. They have their business right down the street from us. We're always doing partnerships like this. So, Demetrius, if you want to come up and talk about infrared, red light, as well as what you have for us. Excellent.
So, first off, show hands. How many people have used this position?
How are we doing so far? Good. Just want to see. I'm okay. I want to see. Just check the time. Good, about 15 minutes in. Nice.
Infrared sauna and a traditional sauna on how it's each.
There we go.
Infrared sauna is dry heat and traditional sauna is steam.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
Yes. Thanks. Awesome. So both correct. And the main difference is in the traditional sauna, it's heating the room up around you, where the infrared sauna is actually piercing the body. It's heating you from the inside out. So I want to spend a little bit of time today talking about how do you biohack within the infrared sauna, and specifically at our studio at Perspire Sauna Studio. So one of the key things is it does penetrate deep into the muscles, right? And I'm not going to read all this because that will bore you to death. But it helps with detoxification. It helps with improving circulation. That's what the infrared is doing as it's entering your body. In addition to that, it boosts your metabolism. Okay. We also have quite a few of our members who come in specifically in the evening because it helps them to sleep. And that is one of the huge benefits you realize day one in your infrared sauna visits. Your body is actually working overtime, creating what's called an artificial fever that then allows your body to start to cool down once you're out of the sauna and helps you to rest easier at night. Okay. Now, Dr. Tim talked about kind of the cold plunge itself. In our studio, we offer what's called a snow shower. It's 45 degrees for 45 seconds. And we treat that as our contrast therapy. Contrast therapy is when you go from an extreme hot to an extreme cold. So, of course, in our studio, the infrared sauna treats the extreme hot. The snow shower, it does the extreme cold. Some of the benefits with that, especially when it's combined with the infrared sauna, is vascular function and muscle recovery. I know we have a few athletes in here, right? From an athletic standpoint, it definitely helps with recovery. If you think about even the cold plunge itself, athletes, after they've had a hard game, they dip into the cold plunge. For us, we know that the cold shower, or the snow shower as it is, can act that same way. Even though it's only a 45-second duration, it actually helps in that same way to help your muscles recover. As Dr. Tim already talked about, it stimulates the brown fats, and it also helps with the immune system. Okay? Then one other thing that we ended up adding into the studio as of March is our halo therapy. Has anyone used salt therapy before? What is it good for?
Basically clearing out your passages, airways, just overall, respiratory health.
Absolutely, 100% correct. Skin health, and one other benefit, allergies. Allergies. I suffer from terrible allergies. I didn't have them until I moved to North Carolina, but they are terrible, and I'm seeing a few people shake their heads. That's one of the elite benefits of the halo therapy. As he already mentioned, it clears the lungs. It helps with respiratory. Those who suffer from asthma, helps out with that. Definitely helps with the skin, but it also helps with allergies. So those who suffer from severe allergies, this is a good opportunity to be able to use the halo therapy to start to clear your system to really help from that standpoint. Okay. Next up, so red light therapy. So our red light therapy is available in each one of our saunas. So it's not a different room you go to or a different thing that you have to purchase. It's already available in each of our saunas. It helps again with skin. It helps with inflammation. It helps with your recovery. It is something that you can turn on or turn off. It's totally up to you. I always recommend to all of our new guests, at least give it a shot. That way you get a sense of, do you like it or do you not like it? Some people love it the entire time. Some people cut it on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Me specifically, I have inflammation really bad in the knee from an injury, and it comes back periodically. So I just tend to go ahead and go into the sauna on a regular basis and use that for inflammation. All right. Then some of the other benefits just from our infrared saunas, mental clarity. So there's been some studies, and I won't quote all of them, but there has been a few studies that talks about how it can help with losing memory. My mom suffers from Alzheimer's right now, and it's a struggle. And I always think to myself, what if this is something we had earlier? What if this is something she could actually have started using years ago to sort of help with that mental clarity and really help to be able to use the sauna itself to actually help with your memory. All right, so cognitive and then holistic, right? Fitness, we already talked about, muscle recovery, but it is backed by science. There's plenty of science-based evidence that we actually have on our in our studio as well. But it's really about your lifestyle. How do you fit it within your lifestyle? When it comes to anything about biohacking, I have to admit, when Dr. Tim first mentioned it, I had never heard of it. So when he asked today, who hasn't heard of it? Well, I can say I've heard of it now because I did a lot of research into it. But definitely, it's an opportunity for you to start to understand what to do within your body to get the results that you want from a health standpoint, a performance standpoint, or a wellness standpoint. All right. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
With salt therapy,
Mm-hmm.
is there ever too much, or how often should you do something like that?
So we recommend that our guests do it 2 times a week. I have not seen a study where it says it's too much. I do it every time I go into the sauna, which is typically 2 to 3 times a week. So I don't mind using it. But we recommend to our guests 2 times, and then consult with your doctor always if there's any questions you may have. One of the things that you'll learn is the first time you sort of use it, because it is clearing your system, it starts with that post-nasal drip. You start to feel kind of that tickle in the back of your throat. That's not atypical. That's just your body actually clearing up kind of the mucus that's in your system at that point. All right. Other questions? Yes, sir. So yes, sir. So there is a machine. It's called a halotherapy machine. It uses a medical grade salt tablet. It's actually pure. It's actually water based, not water. It's liquid based. You put it into the machine, and the machine is actually pushing it out in a mist inside of the sauna for you. Yes, sir.
For how long was has to be one session?
So each of our sessions are 40 minutes long. When it comes to the halotherapy, it runs anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. And as I mentioned, from the snow shower, it runs for 45 seconds. Yes, sir. Other questions? All right.
Do you think that the reason why it helps with Alzheimer's is because it's like a heavy metal detox? Like it's detoxing the body?
So there's a few things to it. So definitely the detoxification, that's going to be one of the key benefits. And unfortunately, and I need to look into why it's really specific for Alzheimer's. Oh, were you want to say something?
So the trauma therapy that we offer as well, so green light is known to help with hormonal metabolism. So it helps reduce stress, helps provide mental clarity. So the green light acts as red light for that social with things that heavy metal contact.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. You look like you were going to say something. Me? Yeah? Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. And last thing I have just for you guys that's here today, we are going to offer a special for you if you would like to at least come and try out our sauna studio. And then Terrence, my wife, is actually over as well, giving out samples of some of our element drinks. It definitely helps with rehydration after the fact. And I think that's really it. Unless there's any other questions, feel free to stop by after we're done. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I've been over to your place.
Mm-hmm. I remember you, Miss Deborah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was you.
Yeah.
So apologetic.
No worries.
If you wanted the salt and you wanted, I know the red light's always on. I know how to do that. But now that you've added the halo and the snow shower, is that something you would implement when you walk in, so they just automatically come on and say?
Excellent question.
Okay.
Thank you. So, I should have specified this. So, when it comes to our add-ons, both the snow shower and the halotherapy, they're available in certain suites. So we have shower suites. Each of our shower suites are equipped with the snow shower. So that's suites 3, 5, and 7. And then within our halotherapy, it's available in 3 suites as well, 2, 5, and 6. So again, it's because it is a device that we actually put in the sauna just before you start, and that you can actually start yourself. Those are only available in 3 suites. And then also the snow shower is available in 3 suites. Good question. Yes. Excellent. All right, you guys let me off easy. I appreciate it, though. And thank you for your questions. And I'll give it back to you, Dr. Tim. Excellent. Yes.
Awesome. So, yeah, Dr. Amanda and myself, this is me using the PureSpire Infrared Sauna Studio. And then Dr. Amanda is fortunately not here. She doesn't know that I had that picture of her using the red light mask that I got her for her birthday. So, good thing she's not here. But one thing I forgot to mention on the cold exposure is when I do it's 45-degree shower. It's like the elephant shower. That's how big the faucet is. It just dumps down on you. It's going to help with this thing called the flinch response. So whenever you're scared to make that decision, that business decision, that investment, or that workout, That cold exposure will help you overcome that, right? That's what I've seen more so from a neurological standpoint. So, yeah, check them out. They're incredible. How about fasting? It's going to get quiet in here in a little bit.
Not for 7 days.
Well, I've got some things that are going to make 7 days look like a pansy attempt. And I'll explain that in a second. So, who in here has fasted, let's start low, 8 hours? Most of us? Who in here feels like if they fasted for 3 hours, they'd have a diabetic coma and pass out? 16. Right? How about 16? Jump up to 16? Wow, okay, same group. Let's go 24 hours. Who's fasted 24 hours? Man, you guys are on it. Let's go a little bit more. How about 36? Similar group. Let me keep bumping up. Have we done 72? Anybody else beyond 72-hour fast? Wow. I want to ask, how long have you done? What's long? 10-day fast, just water. 4 days. Okay, we got 4, 10. Say that last one more time. 84 hours. Help me out with math. How many days is that? 3.5 days. Okay, 3.5 days. 3.5. I'm going to hold these two for the end here in just a second. So why is fasting important? Why is it a biohack? Right? I want to leave you with this principle. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves. All right? That's a natural state. Health is the design state for us. Sickness, disease, cancers, that's an abnormal state, or what we call dis-ease. The body's meant to be at ease. Right? Fasting helps with this process called autophagy, right? Which is basically cleaning up non-productive cells. So those could be things like cancerous cells, abnormal fat cells, right? It moves the damaged cellular components. Now, really cool what it does to your brain. All right, I don't want to go too deep because this could spawn a whole other conversation, but some of us have heard that Alzheimer's or dementia is even like type 3 diabetes. We've heard that. That's too much insulin in the brain or too much glucose in the brain. Fasting helps eradicate that, right? It's going to increase growth hormone. So who in here wants to gain muscle mass and lose body fat? Don't eat. See, this is a challenge that I've figured out going through my own fasting process. Our brain lies to us. We hold on to these false beliefs. If I fast, I'm going to lose my muscle mass. If I fast, I'm going to not have enough energy to work or take care of the kids. Right? All these are beliefs that we put on ourselves, or we've let the culture tell us. But many of us that have done the fast, especially past 3 days, recognize that those were never true. Right? And it's going to help with blood pressure and insulin resistance. I did some deep dive in this. I feel like I'm keeping pretty surface level because I just feel like there's a great crowd. I want you guys to interact after we're done. But there's a theory that there's a gene in all humans as we're designed to go without food for extended periods of time. And what's happened is because that gene is never turned on, the opposite is happening. We're getting prediabetes and diabetes. We're constantly just stuffing our faces and never activating that gene that's in all of us, right? So one thing as well with fasting that I've experienced is it's not so much of mental, and hopefully those who have fasted beyond the 3 days have experienced this too. It's not just mental, it's not just physical, but it's actually a spiritual discipline, right? I'm going to step on some toes with this, but I feel like I'm not here to make you feel happy. I'm here to give you the truth so you can improve your life, right? So it's a spiritual warfare, guys. Everything is a spiritual warfare. We know this, and certainly these past 5-6 years we've seen that, right? It's a cultural blind spot. I mean, who in here has gone and heard their pastor talk about gluttony? Gluttony. That's one of the 7 deadly sins. Your pastor's talked about it? Wow. That's incredible. We all need to go to your church. It's in Ohio. Okay. We can make an exception, or we can live stream, right? We're live streaming here. But guys, nowhere in culture, you are not seen in a negative light if you overeat anywhere.
Just go to church potluck.
Church potluck. Golden Corral buffets, right? The brunch after church. But it's really one of the most rampant sins that we are dealing with as a society, certainly Americans. Right? I just saw this stat in some of the data. It says 41% of women over the age of 21 are obese. Not overweight, obese. 41%. And it's getting worse with the next generation coming up. Now, the sobering truth, I would tweet this or write it down or take a screenshot. Most of us will dig our own grave with a fork and knife. And what I'm asking you to do is not eat. Do nothing. Substitute eating for a different discipline. All right? You would be surprised, I'll talk about my fasting and your fasting in just a second, how much time you get back when you don't eat. Literally, the average American spends 8 hours a day on food. Thinking about food, where we're going to go eat next, actually eating the food, setting the dinner table for food, cooking the food. 8 hours a day we spend. Think how much time gets back when you don't eat. All right? So it's spiritual. I mean, there's even scripture noted in this. There's a plethora of scriptures as I was going through my fast. But Matthew 6 and 16 through 18, it talks about how Jesus said, when you do fast, don't make a show about it. Don't disfigure your faces. Do it in private so your heavenly Father can reward you. Right? It's about doing it in humility. It's not about, oh, I'm fasting, I can't do anything. No, it's honestly, you should just keep going along. In fact, I was very hesitant to talk publicly about my fast, but I had a close buddy / mentor say, man, you need to talk about this publicly. Because people are dying and they're suffering not implementing these principles. So that's why I did it publicly. I had some great feedback from that. Isaiah 58:6, extremely powerful verse. Actually, the whole chapter of Isaiah is really good. It talks about loosening the binds, these chains that hold us back. Right? God's power never gets minimized, but your pipe can get smaller. And if your pipe is clogged, the conduit, he can't work through you. So you want a bigger blessing? Get a bigger pipe. Right? And I'm going to talk about what we want to do as well. So fasting reclaims our focus, restores our spirit, and reminds us ultimately who sustains us. So this isn't a bro pick. I want to share with you physiologically what took place with my body. So this was day 6 of my 7-day fast post-shower. Got very leaned up, very toned. But look, I don't look like I'm a patient in a concentration camp. Right? There's still muscle tissue there. There's still muscle mass. So for those of you bros who do the gym bro split, you're not going to lose muscle mass by not eating. In fact, about 15 hours in, you get a 13x increase in growth hormone. 1,300% increase when you fast for 15 hours. Right? So I really challenge you. Someone says, I can never not eat before I go to the gym. I encourage you to challenge what your brain's telling you, not the actual reality. All right? I drew this picture, so I'll share with you kind of personally what Dr. Mann and I are going through. We've been in a place in our business where things are great, God's blessed us immensely, but we feel like there's this cap. There's more for us to reach the Charlotte and Valentine community. And one of those things that we did this fast was these workshops here, right? Then we talked about our fasting, but the big one personally, I don't know where Dr. Mann went, but her and I have a beautiful daughter, Adley, who just turned 2. And we are trying to live out the word and being fruitful and multiply. And unfortunately, these past few attempts, we've been unsuccessful. So we want to supercharge the results, supercharge our faith. And that's why we decided to do a fast. So that blessing, that testimony, we'll have to wait for the next workshop with. All right? So again, visual representations of fasting protocols. I took this picture specifically. This is my last meal before I went into a 7-day fast. And for you ladies, Dr. Mann went into a 3-day fast. So you ladies can do it. Yes. Before I talk about, the cool part about the fast is I have this wearable. For those of us that wear wearables, fitness trackers, it's cool to track not just how you're feeling, but the physiology. I'm going to talk about it in a sec, but I actually want to bring up a gentleman who really inspired me. Blew my mind with what was possible. Now, for those of you who are patients here, you know our whole concept is to hold the alignment. We've heard that before for those patients. So this gentleman came in. This was back during COVID. You can correct the story if I'm wrong. But he would work from home and he came here. In the 7 sessions that he came in over the 7 weeks, he held 6 out of the 7 times on his adjustment. The unique piece of that is this gentleman was going through a 35-day fast. So I actually want Manuel, can you just briefly touch, maybe keep it around 90 seconds, just touch on your story of the 35-day fast, things that you experienced physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Yeah, of course.
First off, give him a round of applause. 35 days. He takes the cake.
Yeah, so I I guess I came across it by accident. I had a little lipoma on the side of my chest, so I heard that fasting is good for that, so I decided to I researched all kinds of websites, Indian websites, even though I don't speak Indian, and all kinds of stuff. And what it kept going back to is the ability of fasting to basically what he was talking about, autophagy, and just kind of clearing out the body. So I came across this website online, I think is Tanglewood Wellness Center. It's a place in Costa Rica where people go to do fasting. And because of COVID, they had this Skype program that you could actually do it at home. So I took advantage of the opportunity that I didn't have to go to work, and I decided to do the fast. So he recommended 35 days, so I went ahead and did it. I thought it would be a cool way to like just kind of reset the body, as well as a nice little challenge. I heard of one other person that did 40 days, so I was curious if I could do it. So just to kind of walk you through what it's like to go through an extended fast. Most people start a fast and they stop a fast generally around 2 or 3 days because they feel weak and they feel tired and things like that. But what happens is after day 3 or 4, your hunger goes away, your weakness goes away, because what's happening is your body is transitioning from processing sugar or glucose for energy to getting energy out of fat. So you're in ketosis during that time period. Once it transitions over to ketosis, or basically just feeding yourself off of the fat in your body, then you don't feel weak. You don't feel weak as long as you're not moving. If you're sitting down, if you're walking, you're fine. But if you start going upstairs, you're going to feel that, you kind of get a little bit tired a little bit sooner. But for all intended purposes, like, people can't tell that you're fasting. Like, all of the hardships go. So day 1, day 2, easy. Day 3, you start to feel the weakness maybe between day 3 to day 6. Day 3 also is the beginning of where autophagy begins, right? Then all the way to day 10 is the next level where you go into your deeper level of healing. So that's when the body is clearing out any precancerous cells or anything like that. That's where that happens between day 10 and throughout the rest of the fast. Another thing that I noticed around day 10 or 11, I used to have very heavy lower back pain, which kind of helped with the chiropractic. But also while I was doing the fast, I noticed that it kind of disappeared. A lot of my joints and stuff started like loosening up. My flexibility was on point. My nails were stronger. My teeth was stronger. And all of this started happening around day 10 or 11. Around day 18, I noticed that the water had like a little bit of a bitter taste to it. And that's because your gut is detoxifying, and some of that detoxification happens in your tongue. So the water starts tasting a little bit bland, I guess, if you would think. And one way that I used to combat that was basically having a metal straw and kind of sending it to the back of my throat. I also did a little bit of Pellegrino water because the carbonation kind of helped to change the taste a little bit. And then after that, it's pretty much consistent. The only time that I started getting hungry again and like a little bit nauseous is around day 30, 33, 34, because I knew that I was getting ready to start eating. So I think the mental thought of being able to eat again started kind of getting to me. But from my experience, it was an awesome experience. I literally think that is the #1 best thing that I've ever done as far as my health. I felt 15 years younger. Like I was skinny. I did kind of look a little bit more like I came out of a concentration camp because mine was longer. Mine was extended. And that was kind of like the intention of it, to get rid of all of the stuff that is bad so that the body can heal itself. And then also, last interesting fact is I did a blood test right after the fast, and they told me not to because it's going to be horrible, and it actually was. Everything came out negative. Cholesterol was horrible. My testosterone was like that of a woman. It was everything came back negative. But and that's because when you fast, you're kind of shaking the whole body up, and it's kind of like if you have a muddy puddle and you shuffle it around, you're gonna have a lot of mud in the water. It's gonna be like muddy water. So that's what the blood test was capturing. But then I did it to like a month or a month and a half later, and everything, testosterone was great, cholesterol was great, every metric in my body was great, and I could tell, I could feel it. And normally I've done many types of diets, ketogenic diet, I've done whole 30, all kinds of diet, and I'd say that I'd recommend every adult to at least try fasting, extended fasting, supervised, not on your own. I would say 7 days, okay, you can do on your own, but anything beyond that, have a professional that is tracking your blood pressure, checking all of this stuff to make sure that everything is right, and that's basically what I did. So yeah. Yep, you're welcome.
Very quick. Any questions for him before we switch?
Yeah.
You also recommended to do electrolytes and like a little bit of electrolytes.
Mm.
That you could also do bone broth
Mm-hmm.
if you wanted to.
During the fast?
Yeah, I didn't know. You tried to do any of that or?
No, the way that we like nothing, absolutely nothing but water. Yeah, I've seen people do like with salt, where they would take salt in order to like replenish electrolytes, but everything, the weirdest thing is that you would think that you'd be deficient in vitamins and stuff like that because like you're not consuming anything, but apparently the body has the vitamins stored somewhere, and it just kind of gets unlocked as it's needed. What we were told about consuming any type of nutrition during that fast is that it could take you off of the deepest level of healing. You'll still heal, you'll still be good, but it's just not going to be as powerful as if you just do water. Yeah, sure. I think so. I did? Yeah. So apparently I did. I don't remember. I think because I documented the whole thing. I basically had videos of like all the conversations and stuff like that. But so I guess I must have. But I don't remember what the original results were. They were pretty much normal for what I normally get. But the results after the fast were ridiculous. Like literally a clean bill of health. And I did a lot. I did like almost every test that I could, and everything. By every metric came out good. Yeah. My doctor, what doctor? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't do your own blood work.
No. Yeah, I went to the. You mean like the lab folks?
The person who was reading your blood work, how did they respond to when you first had your terrible blood work right after the fact?
Well, there were different people, so there wasn't a correlation, but I don't even remember what conversation. I think it probably came up. It's like it kind of explained to them why I was doing it and stuff. Oh, that's pretty neat. Oh, really? 35? Oh, that's I've never heard of that. It's kind of weird, kind of like if you talk to somebody about crypto or something, it's kind of like, so.
To stay monitored while you're going to do what you're standing fast.
Yeah.
So I was wondering who's monitoring.
Oh, gotcha. So so he's not a doctor, but he's a specialist. Yeah, he's a specialist in like fasting. He's been doing fasting for, I don't know, 20, 30 years and fasted all kinds of people. They have seen, complete people come in with bone and motor arthritis, right? They can't walk. And I don't think they didn't document the x-ray afterwards, but the lady was able to walk. Anything from 100% on blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure and you need medication, now there's a way to get off of your medication, and they'll tell you all of that stuff. But Tanglewood Wellness Center and Lauren Lockman is who I used for that. There's another one in California that's a little bit more expensive. The one from Lauren Lockman is about $100 a day. So if you do 35 days, $3,500. The one in California is more like $10,000. But that is literally, you have a couple doctors that are, now he has doctors as well. But in this one, you have a couple doctors that are checking on you and stuff, and you have a nutrition that you give, and you kind of stay in a specific place. So you're not doing it from home. So it's a little bit more intensive, but if you're considering doing it for like a kid or something like that, that you want to have like doctors in place, that's another option as well. Yeah.
Really quick, just for time purposes, if you have questions for Manuel, I've got one more person I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Connect with them afterwards.
Yeah,
Give me a round of applause.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no problem.
All right. Anything is possible, right? And then the cool thing, if I can highlight just our service, if maybe we were at a different chiropractic office, he would have continued to get adjusted and potentially have gotten worse. So fortunately, we've got the systems and technology to know when to leave it alone. And I think that is a valuable asset of our specialty here, right? So real quick, I'll go through this, and then I want to have a female speak on fasting. But I track some stuff with my Oura Ring. This was after day 1. My readiness score usually hovers around like low 80s, high 70s, sometimes mid 80s. After day 1, went up to 91 from just not eating. That's the only thing that I changed. My heart rate, pretty much baseline for my low, went to 39. And then this was at the end of this, so this was going into day 7. Readiness went down a little bit, but my heart rate was the lowest that it's ever been, was at 35 beats per minute. So it went low, 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 low. And honestly, day 6 and day 7 is when I felt the strongest, when I felt the best. I felt the most clear. I felt like I could work out and run a marathon, but if I tried to, I would get a little woozy. So that's what he's talking about. So it can be done, guys. Right? Fortunately, I've got a resource like Manuel to help me with that.
On day 7, I did a cycle class and had a PR. Just saying.
Day 7? Wow. Again, what limiting beliefs? Yeah, I mean, limiting beliefs, I probably was just in my own mind. A few more. So I want to talk about the ladies here, because ladies oftentimes can get a little bit of a misnomer. They see all the Instagram reels, oh, it's going to mess up my hormones and throw me off for life, and etc. So I want to go through some of what the research is showing, and then I'm going to bring a female up to debunk all that research. How does that sound? Right? Because guess what? All the knowledge and research in the world doesn't do anything unless you implement it. Cold plunging, infrared, fasting, we'll talk on chiropractic. All those things are great. I can give you the most exquisite testimonies and resources on all those things. But if you don't do any of it, you don't get any of the benefits from it. Will we all agree to that? Of course. So this is what she's seen. And this, I actually want to ask the guys this. Gentlemen, when does a woman's menstrual cycle start? When? Men. When does the actual cycle start? Most men don't know this. Day 1. Very good, Eric. You must be running for office. That's a political answer. Does any gentleman know when a woman's cycle starts? Like what's considered day 1 on a female menstrual cycle? See, ladies, we don't know. And we wonder why we can't keep up with your hormones. Ladies, help us out. When does the cycle officially start? Oh no, the ladies don't know? First day. That's what Eric said. But what happens on the first day of the menstrual cycle? It's when you bleed. It's when you menstruate. We all know that now, right? The first day of a female cycle is when we menstruate. That's day 1 of a female cycle. Females run on a 28-day cycle, give or take. Men are on a 24-hour cycle. Okay? In fact, ladies, if you give something to your husband or partner and they don't like it, you don't like the response, talk to them 15 minutes later, they'll give you a different answer because our testosterone just came back. So ladies, you got to work with us. But ladies, we got to catch you in this proper window, okay? So technically on day 1 through 12, this is great for intermittent fasting. That's like the 8, the 16, the 24-hour fast. That's going to be most ideal to do the fast. Does that make sense? So when you're bleeding, that's when you can start. Days 13 to 15 is when you're ovulating. This is the research from Dr. Mindy Peltz. You've seen some of her. I'll show her a picture in a second. We want to keep the fast under 15 hours. That's what she recommends for her patients, her clients. And then the last phase, basically that last week leading up to having the cycle again. Ladies, talk to me. Is that when the cravings are the highest? Yes or yes? See, oftentimes, men, we don't even know this. We don't know why you're craving carbs or in a funky mood, right? We don't think about your cycle. But this is when we want to avoid those long fasts. Now, for you postmenopausal women, you don't have to raise your hand. None of this applies to you. You can fast. Normally, it will have no effect because your hormones will not be thrown off. No excuses for you to help teach the other generation. So, real quick, some myths that we have around this. Fasting isn't safe for women. That's a myth. The truth is, we need a more tailored approach, especially when you're first starting out. All right? And the other myth states that it's going to mess or wreck up your hormones, specifically your sex hormones, but in fact, it actually helps balance it out. Insulin, cortisol, sex hormones. So I am actually going to bring up a female who is currently going through a fast, might I add. She can correct me if I'm wrong. She is 16 days in to a 21-day fast. She's in her fertility years. She has a young daughter, and she's done a couple of them. So I'm going to bring Miss Abby. Can you just briefly talk about where you're currently at and then what you've noticed from fasting? Keep it brief if you can, all right? Go ahead. Let's give Abby a round of applause. 16 days in right now. I'm going to give you this mic real quick. Got it. There you go.
Yeah. Well, so when I first heard about fasting, I heard it from my now husband, and he said, you know what, I did this 35-day fasting, and I was like, man, this guy is crazy. I want to do it too and be crazy with him, right? So what happened is that I wanted to talk about like my first experience when I fasted. I drink a lot of coffee, and you know the effect of coffee when you drink one gives you energy, you know, and all of these wonderful things. But the effect of it, it's like almost the opposite. I couldn't get up of the bed, and I'm always sleepy all the time. And then I have a lot of like inflammation, you know, stiffness and all of these things, and so on. And so many problems. But when I started fasting, I was very, very, very weak. First 3 days was very weak for me. And then I had this massive headache and so on and so forth. Super. And, but you would be surprised after that, because after 4 days, you don't even feel hungry anymore. And that's the truth. You don't really feel hungry anymore. And I feel like I have a lot more energy. Right now, I'm currently going through a 21-day fasting, and I'm currently 6 months postpartum. And you would think like, man, I couldn't take care of my daughter, and I couldn't do this. Well, guess what? I cook for my husband. I clean our house. I take care of our daughter, and I drive. I walk. I mean, you know, I still do all the normal things. And all I can say is that I feel like our body has innate wisdom. Like they know what it needs to do or what it's supposed to do. And you would be really like surprised on what it does to your health. I mean, when I started fasting, I was already relatively healthy when it comes to blood work and so on and so forth. There's really nothing to compare because I've always cared about my health and so on and so forth. And mind you, before I got pregnant, I also fasted 21 days. And then 4 months later, I was pregnant. And, you know, that's all I can share. I mean, I'm almost there and looking forward to eat for sure. And, and yeah.
Really quick, just for time's sake, I want to make sure we get home before dark.
Yeah.
I'll take 3 questions from Miss Abby. Any of you ladies or gentlemen have questions for her, and then we'll move on to the last bit. Okay. Any questions from Miss Abby?
I have a question. So when you go back to eating,
Yes.
do you feel like you eat a lot less because you're like?
That's a good question. Actually, I'm gonna go through a refeeding. So everything that I eat for a week, it will be fruits, and it will be small amount. Like for the first day, it will be like only 2 ounces, then 4 ounces, then it will add up and it will add up, and then by a week, you know, I'd probably able to consume normal foods again, because you cannot shock your system yet and just eat a whole meal. So you have to go slow. You can do it.
Any other questions for Miss Abby? Give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
And you know that she's 16 days into a fast and showed up and is speaking to you guys. She's committed. You landed a good one, man. Yeah. Good job. Can I take that mic from you real quick? So, last piece before we conclude. These are just some of the benefits from a research standpoint of, you ladies. I know especially cancers for ladies is the highest that it's ever been, but this has been shown to help with decreasing breast cancer. It's crazy. I mean, this has been talked about almost in every religion. They talk about fasting, yet in Western America, it's never talked about. And this is my theory around why we don't talk about fasting. Because even tonight, no business benefits from people fasting. Certainly no food places, no chiropractic offices, no infrared plate. Like, no one benefits financially from you all fasting. But what you can benefit spiritually is amazing. So I encourage you, challenge yourself a little bit. Fair enough? Cool? All right. So I want to just shake up the energy a little bit, and then we'll regroup. I would like to, got a good-sized group. Let's break into groups of 4. We'll kind of go one group here, one group there, and then 2 groups in the front. Just a quick questions. Kind of switch up the energy, and then we'll finish up in the next 5-10 minutes. Yeah. So kind of turn your chairs around if you can. Partners, you guys can form your own group over here with the students. So we're gonna go. We're on a time crunch here. We're gonna go 2 minutes for each question. First question is, what one habit do you know that's costing you your health right now? Talk amongst yourselves. Maybe you want to give me a timer? We'll go 120 seconds. Cool?
100%.
Switch it up. Everybody feels friendly. They feel together. And then, this is fun. You doing okay? You seem bored.
Seem bored?
Yeah, just,
No, it's really overwhelmed.
with what?
Just in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh. That's fine. Overwhelmed. We should keep it on me. Cool. Hey.
No, I was asking that. I was like that when you were.
All right, guys, let's regroup real quick. Regroup if we can. You guys stay in your groups. Stay in your groups real quick. I want to kind of ask each group. So, what was the one thing that we took? Maybe as a collective. Maybe we'll have one spokesperson for each group. Why don't I start over here in the back corner? What was the one habit that's costing you your health right now? What did you guys come up with?
We all shared the time sleep.
Sleep.
Lack of sleep?
Just a lack of sleep. All right. Well, we're not on a sleep seminar, but my principle for you guys, if you want to win your morning, it's all about winning your evening. So set an alarm in the evening, not necessarily in the morning. And that's how you can see those things change. Yeah? Cool. How about going around this side? What we get? What's the one health crisis right now that's costing you your health? Okay. Raffle off some. Give me the top 3. What were bad about yourself? Caffeine. I actually want to bring a point, the caffeine, because people say, can I have coffee while I'm doing a fast? The best I've heard, what can I eat? Electrolytes. Before you do a fast, maybe monitor your blood sugar. And if you drink that drink or eat that supplement, see if it raises your blood sugar. If it does, you can't do it on a fast. If it doesn't, then you're fine during the fast. That's just a helpful principle there. How about this group in the front here? Some experts, all the health experts. Sugar. Fasting sounds like it's the perfect solution. Cool. All right. Sugar. Yep.
Sugar, phone, being too long on your phone.
Phone, yeah, the doom scrolling.
Yeah, and inactivity.
Inactivity. Sedentary life. All right. Well, get some cold plunge, man. That'll wake you up a little bit. How about over here? What was our conclusion? Thing we need to implement, change. Nothing. It's all our health experts over there. Sugar and energy drinks. Interesting. Yeah, and again, oftentimes we want to change habits, but we can replace them. So instead of drinking an energy drink, dump your face in some cold water. See if that doesn't give you a better surge. Yep. All right, let's go on to number 2. We'll have 2 minutes again. Choose your focus. We're kind of all on the same theme here. If we could biohack one area of our life, whether it's our energy, our focus, or mood, which one, let's choose one, which one would be, and then why? So we're going to have some reason. Why is that the most important? So 2 minutes. Henry, you got the timer? Go for it. Wrap it up. Let's start in front. Work our way backwards here. Here we go. Real quick, gang. Let's say now. I'm going to start this way and go back. So, what was the one area that we should biohack?
I think collectively it's energy.
Energy.
But you said mood.
I was more mood, and if I'm energetic enough, that'll handle the mood. So that's kind of how.
So energy, but if your energy is good, then your mood changes.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, a lot of people.
Because I notice, like, if I have a day or two where I don't do my regular routine because of maybe I'm traveling, whatever, my mood, I can feel my whole.
Definitely. Okay. How about you guys? In the, I guess, is this one group there? One big group? No, they got the middle one. Which one do you want to improve upon?
Mostly said energy as well. I was a little bit more focused, but they mostly talked about everything.
Well, it's interesting. You know, all of our businesses that we're in require some level of energy. So if your energy's down or plummeting, it affects your sales. It affects your bottom line. So yeah, that's definitely an important one. How about you guys in the corner there? Energy, yeah. Cool. All right. Energy. Let's talk about it. How about this group in the corner? Sounds like energy over there. A lack thereof. What do we got? Everybody feels like they're burnt out. And it's crazy too. Oftentimes our form of relaxation is the thing that continues to take energy away from us. Watch a movie, scroll on our phone, all this sympathetic stress, and we wonder why we're burnt out the next morning. Yeah. What do we come to a consensus over here? Energy. Yeah, I said energy. Heather asked me, she asked me, what would you do? I said, mine would definitely be focus. And not that I lack brain focus, but that I can get distracted. planning this event, doing whatever. Things are so I can get distracted in so many ways that affects my focus. So really trying to hone it in. All right, let's go. Last one here. The things we talked about, our energy, our sugar. I want you to put yourself in the negative. What would happen if we don't address the specific thing that you're dealing with? What would be the consequences of waiting for those symptoms to show up and taking no action? So let's take 2 minutes, talk about the negatives if you don't get this addressed. Go ahead, gang.
Yeah, yeah. Quick question. Do you happen to know a gas station nearby?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Bueno, una agua.
All right, gang. We'll saddle up here. Here we go. We'll start with this crew here. I know you guys are great. It's a good crowd. I'm going to start with the health experts. What would be the consequences for waiting for these symptoms to show up, or the ones that are here and not taking action around it? What did you guys come up with? Shorter lifespan. Who wants to live shorter? Nobody. And we'd be supporting Big Pharma, right? Because a healthy customer is not a customer, right? Dependency. Yeah. Yes, Ben, when we say, hey, guys, when you implement these biohacks, chiropractic for the long term, people feel like we're trying to take business from them. But if you go to your medical doctor and say, you're going to be on this medication for the rest of your life, they never question it, right? So you get to choose what you want to do for the rest of your life. There is no, I'm perfectly good, perfectly bad, and that's it. You've got to do something consistently, whether it's health, whether it's disease. How about you guys? What were the consequences if we don't implement? I'll let them talk. Yeah. So I heard this in school, but when we look at illness, if I were to write on the board, it says ILLNESS, right? And illness is focused on the I, right? It's I had this condition, I'm dealing with this low energy, I. But we look at wellness, right? We can look at it as a collective. And we need to have wellness, we need a collective effort if we want to have that for the long term. So when you're suffering from something, think we, not I, yeah? How about you guys in the back? What do we got? What's the consequences of not implementing the things that we know are holding us back?
You said with low energy, it kind of builds a snowball effect where your energy is low, it goes down, it affects your job, it affects your family life,
yep,
your social life, some of the energy like that. It just gets worse and worse.
That's exactly right. Health, I believe health is exponential. Health can be exponential. Exponentially is getting better, exponentially getting worse, right? Just like our income ideally. How about the ombre group here in the center? What'd you guys come up with? Yep.
weight gain, disease, lots of problems.
Yeah. I think the only thing worse than death is a life not lived at 100%. And we can't let that happen. That's our mission, not let you all not live at your 100%. Final group here. What do we got? Illness.
Yeah, chronic illness, depending on what, people with sugar issues are gonna face diabetes, people that don't exercise enough are gonna have, well, it's a whole other topic, so. It's just disease, not feeling the best you can.
And guys, I mean, we all know we're in a health crisis right now. And instead of trying to know the stats and change others, all we can do is change ourselves, right? People don't change unless we change. So let's kind of come back together if we can. And we just got about 5-10 minutes here, and we'll let everyone connect, grab more food, etc. You guys having fun tonight? Has this been fun or what?
Yeah.
I'm having some fun up here.
Yeah.
Say it again. Good. Gas. So I'll bring it up. Well, before we move on to the next thing, maybe some personal insights or some key insights. Anyone who want to comment or just like, wow, I didn't think about this till someone shared that. Any other last minute insights before we wrap up?
For me, it's been like I hear about these things, but it's always been really high level. So to find out, like you hear it here and there, but to put it all together has been really helpful.
Cool. And that was one of my intentions, to simplify.
Yes.
Right? But the ultimate simplification, Karen, is to implement.
Yes.
Right? This can be all the coolest stuff in the world, but if we don't implement it, yeah, right. We don't need more information, right? I could keep going for hours and hours, but if we don't implement the things we're talking about tonight, we don't see that change. Yeah. So let's wrap up here. But guys, what do you think is the ultimate biohack? And we're a little biased, but what do you think? What's the ultimate biohack? Specifically, upper cervical chiropractic, right? Because it literally turns all the other biohacks on. I'm going to go through some examples to show you how, right? It's going to help with removing the interference between your brain and your body. I don't care if you fast, you cold plunge, you infrared. If your brainstem is kinked and twisted, doesn't matter what you do. Disrupting the signals, right? It's going to help with heart rate variability, immune function, enhance your focus. Right now, this is chiropractic, infrared, and cold plunge. This isn't coffee. This isn't energy drinks. I'm ready to go till 3 in the morning if you guys are. No, I'm just kidding. It's the switch that turns all the other biohacks on. I'm going to have someone talk about that. They were doing all the biohacks, and it wasn't until they got connected they actually saw that change. So I want to pause here for just 1 second because this is probably the most important chart that we have in this office. Certainly that we'll go through tonight. If we want to get to the root of how our body works, it heals, we have to know how basic physiology works. Okay? And God created this incredible system that's designed to heal itself. How does that healing happen? It only can happen if the brain can communicate through the spinal cord to the end organ, back from the organ through the spinal cord to the brain. That is how our body operates. It doesn't happen any other way. It doesn't matter if you fast, doesn't matter if you cold plunge, you infrared, you take the supplements. If the signal isn't working, we can't heal. We create dis-ease or dysfunction, right? And I want to break this down for you, like Karen said, as simply as I possibly can. Why are we so passionate about this? Because the evaluation, an upper circle evaluation, is the most important thing that you can do for yourself, for your spouse, for your family, when it comes to your overall health. What protects the nervous system, the spinal cord? Does anybody know what protects it? What is that? Vertebrae. Exactly, right? Your spinal vertebrae. Most people don't even know that, right? The spine and the skull are the hardest structures in the body because it's protecting the most important structure, most important system. When that spinal cord becomes out of alignment, it's pinching on the nerves, okay? It pinches, it disrupts the signal that goes to the organ. That organ then creates those chemicals to allow the body to perform, whether that's hydroxin, whether that's things for your heart, for your liver, your kidneys. And then ultimately, when those signals, those chemicals are dampened, we get decreased performance. Or it may look like decreased energy, or headaches, or dizziness, or ringing in the ears, or infertility, or gastric challenges, IBS, right? All these different conditions that we show up with that we think are just genetic. So when we can improve the body chemistry, energy, get the organ functioning properly because the signal's restored, by correcting the alignment, your body will function like God intended it to. Now you say, well, I know people that have lived over 100 that have never received chiropractic. Exactly. They've never also done cold plunging, infrared, fasting, etc. Their body is functioning like God intended it to. But the primary focus of how the body heals is through the nervous system. The nervous system is the most important system. Which system? How important is it? The most important. Would it make sense to have your nervous system evaluated? For those of you who have not. That was a weak yes. If that's the yes, I know nothing's going to change. I say yes or yes. Who in here deserves that? You, your family, or your children and their children's children? All the above. Why wouldn't you? It's the thing that governs us. There's so many patients. I'm going to talk about these wristbands in a second. They're here, and for whatever reason, their family is not here. And they're decreasing in health every single second of every single day. We cannot let that happen. We've got to implement and take action there. Where am I at? So what can happen? Why the upper neck? These two bones are the only bones in the spine that can move separately of themselves. Okay, everywhere else the spine's interlocked. When that gets choked and kinked off like a beer funnel, which I'll show in a second, it disrupts the communication. Right? You can even fast, you can cold plunge, you can infrared, you can take the CBD, and you can actually have negative thoughts. You can have a positive experience and experience a depressed thought because the communication in your brain isn't working properly. That only can be corrected and improved upon if the signal's there. Now, this is what happens. Literally, there's a twisting and torsioning at the level of your brainstem. It affects every aspect of human performance. Think about how many of us are walking around like this. And we wonder why we're low energy, low focus. Challenging. I want to show you this from demonstration purposes. I patent this analogy so no one can take it. You students can't take it. All right? So let's say, actually, I'm going to have Manny, why don't you come up, buddy? Help me out here. This is Manny. Give him a round of applause. Give him all this clever. So let's go to this one here. I want you to, let's stand right beside me here so they can see you. So imagine this is our brain. All right. This is our spinal cord. And let's say, for instance, what organ do you want this to go to the end of? Give me an organ. Heart. Go ahead and pour a little bit of nerve flow in there. Sweet. Okay. Now, for whatever reason, there's a kink at the top, and now that heart is not getting the signal. What is the most efficient way for the heart to get the signal and function properly? Why not do a cold plunge? Maybe do some red light? What about infrared? Or fasting, if we fasted enough? It isn't until we do what, guys? You already said it. I know it sounds stupid, but this is what's happening. It isn't until we undo the kink that the heart signals can finally function like they're supposed to. I can't tell you how many people I see do every single biohack, and they come in here, and they're low on energy. They have this symptom. They have this gut issue. They have this anxiety problem. Because they're walking around with a kink. Sorry about that. Got a lot of signal there. Right? So we've got to get the electrical system working like it's supposed to. If you have not been evaluated in this office, I really challenge you. To go get outside of your comfort zone and get the evaluation that you deserve. I'm going to talk about the wristbands here in a second. Does that make sense? Can you feel the passion for that? Everything else hinges upon this. All those things are great. They're supplemental, but this is foundational. Right? When I was paralyzed from the waist down, I did a lot of the things. I did cold therapy on my back. I did the red light. And nothing got me back to the full extent until someone showed that my problem was in my neck. And from that, I was able to play sports, meet my beautiful wife, and now share this vital information with all of you. The caveat to this is, are we going to wait for things to show up and have early death? Or are we going to do and take on the responsibility and recognize people are literally dying out there? They're waiting on the next supplement, the next gizmo, the next device, when the answer is literally within them. Thank you, Manny. Appreciate it. Give Manny a hand again. Yeah, you can hold on to that for me. So guys, as we wrap up, I keep losing my iPad here. As we wrap up, these are just some of the effects that can occur, right? If you're wondering, man, I'm doing all the things he's talking about. Why am I not experiencing the results? When you have a misalignment, it's going to create dizziness, hormone issues, affect your eye movement, affect all the neurological control to those organs we talked about. From how could a misalignment of my neck affect my calf? Well, the brain is smart enough, it distorts itself. Right? Especially if you're like Derek and you've hit your head into the walls playing hockey. You wonder why you wake up with back pain, right? We're walking like this. And now we want to get steroid injections, PT to the back, when the head is literally not where it's supposed to be. All these compensation patterns happen, and that's where we get the neck pain, shoulder pain, ankle pain, all these specific things. The fasting, the cold plunging, the infrared, all those things are important and vital. But if it is not set in proper position, we're losing out on the significant amount of benefits that those biohacks can offer. Does that make sense? Awesome, gang. So before we go, I actually want to bring up someone who was doing a lot of the biohacking already and share her experience once she was able to get the few pieces connected. So, Miss Terrence, I want you to just briefly share your story, and then we'll wrap up. I promise to get you guys home, yeah? Let's welcome in Miss Terrence. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Terrence. So, as my husband said, we own Perspire Sauna Studio. A few years ago, I would say 4 years ago now, I got really ill to the point of being bedridden. I was on a cane. I could not stand for 5 minutes. I was 405 pounds. I got taken off of work on disability, the whole nine. And I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Seeing a ton of different doctors. No one could tell me what was really wrong with me. I have an autoimmune disease. They're like, oh, it's just your immune system, like reduce your inflammation. So I did all these things, lost 160 pounds, like did all the things that I thought I was doing the right things, seeing a chiropractor 3 times a week, getting adjusted, the whole nine. I also had lower back issues. So I had a C5 and 6 and an S1 and 2 pinch. I was actually out here doing a Valentine Village event for Perspire, and behind me I saw Dr. Amanda setting up the tent. And I just came over and was like, hey, I see a chiropractor, what do you guys do? And she's like, hey, let me just take your picture and see how your spine is aligned. And I was going to a chiropractor 3 times a week. Every visit, I was still having the same amount of pain. She took a photo of me standing straight on and sideways, and I was standing like this. I had no idea that I was standing that way. I couldn't tell it when I walked. I couldn't tell that my head was off center. So from my first appointment, last summer, to now, I've had a set of MRIs and some x-rays. My doctor was talking spine surgery, and he actually told me just last week that my back looks the best it has in years. And it's just been 7-8 months, almost a year, that I've been seeing Dr. Tim. And I'm now up to once every 2 weeks. I used to come 2-3 times a week. But it's so much better than a regular chiropractor, and literally it takes 5 minutes. And now we've introduced the decompression table, which has greatly reduced my back pain. I'm able to stand up longer, do more activity. I don't use a cane. I haven't used a cane since probably 3 months after seeing Dr. Tim. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. It's one of those things that I did not know that cervical chiropractic was a specialty until I actually talked to Amanda out at the event. And I was like, oh, I want to try that. And then sold. I'm living it every day. So.
So, we've got a great relationship. It's never to downplay anything that's not as important. All those things are incredible, but she was doing a lot of those things, and it wasn't until we got connected did we finally start to see that change. So what is my ask now? All of you should have received a wristband in here. Look at your color, if you can. So my final call to action is, for those of you who have a red wristband on, you are considered guests. So what's going to happen in the next few moments, Dr. Amanda is going to come around and find a specific time to get your specific evaluation set up. I don't care if you live here, you live 5 hours away, you deserve at the very least to have an upper cervical evaluation. Those of you that are guests. Because the last thing we can do is learn all these biohacking principles. You go home, you infrared, you sauna, you buy this, and your brain is not connected to your body. So Dr. Amanda is going to come around and find the specific time for you. For those of you that have a yellow wristband, There's a reason for that. Not all of your family has the opportunity of being seen. Some of your family has been seen and for whatever reason decided not to do anything. And you're literally, your partner, your children are suffering. They're going through life at less than 100%. And we cannot let that happen. So we want to offer the same thing for you. Dr. Mann is going to find that time. If you don't know their schedule, that's fine. At the very least, we want their information so we can make it easy for them. Now, there's one last group. There's the orange. Okay? They are partners who have put this event and helped us together. So please give all of the partners in orange a round of applause. Thank you very much for doing that. And last piece I'll share, there's a green wristband. Okay? And this is how we know we're not doing a good job as an office. So I talked to her earlier, if she feels comfortable. The green wristband is someone that's adopted the limitless lifestyle. They're here, their spouse is here, and their children are here as well. So Andrea, can you just briefly share in 30 seconds what the healing outcomes has been, not just for you, your husband, and your children as well? Thank you. And that's the difference. Is right now, every single thing in your brain is going to tell you to not do anything right now. There's an excuse. I've got to get home to get to the kids. There's something else that's more important. And our mission is to make Charlotte the healthiest city in the nation. And we found out through prayer and fasting, we can't do that alone. But we know it can never happen unless there's an evaluation with your upper cervical spine and your nervous system. So, for those of you, I talked about having your phones. You can grab your phones. Please Go Charlotte, yes. So many of the patients that have currently been in here, if you've been here long enough, you have spent $449 for an evaluation. Okay? Some of us are lucky enough to get a new patient special, or you were referred by someone else and got something. We want to eliminate all doubt, all fear, all insecurity, and save you $400 tonight. So for those of you who are guests, it should pull you up like you're ordering a product on Amazon. If you've had your exam, Dr. Amanda will find a time to get your follow-up. But for those of you who have the yellow wristbands whose spouse is not here, you can go ahead and place that order for them or for your children. And Dr. Amanda will come around to find the time and the day that works for you specifically. So please take advantage of this. We want to do this to help support you in massive ways. The $50 it doesn't matter about that. In fact, I thought about giving it all to Theo's foundation. It's not about the $50. It's about getting you guys evaluated so you can live to your God-given potential. So take advantage of that. Place the order. All you have to do is say thank you for your order to Dr. Amanda. She'll come around. She'll find a specific appointment time that works for you guys. Please do not walk out of here not doing something that could save you, your spouse, or your children's life. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Feel free to grab some more food before you go. You've been incredible. Appreciate you.
That was excellent. Very good.
Thank you.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on fasting and working out during a fast?
So when I did the 7 days, first day I didn't really change anything. I did a little bit of a lighter workout. I probably scaled it like 60%, and I took off the Wednesday, and then I just kind of dropped down to like 40, 30%. So I still did something. It was very light. It was like a gentle yoga. Yeah, totally.
I did that. I kept wondering, should I go as hard as I normally do, or should I dial it back, or what should I do? And
she said she had a PR on her day 7, so I think a lot of it's mental, but I think you scale back just to be safe.
I just didn't know how bad it was. I mean, my workouts are pretty hard, so I didn't know how bad it would deplete me.
Yeah.
If I'd feel depleted, or I just didn't know what the effects would be.
You're probably gonna feel more depleted like day 1 to day 3, and then after that you'll probably feel a little bit better.
Okay. Good enough.
Yeah. Well, I know with everything that went on with you, you've got a lot, but this is going to be exceptionally important for your healing journey. So keep us posted. Obviously, at the very least, getting an evaluation of your husband. People don't know until you look on the inside, right? Like I said, all these things are good, but how are things connected, So, but thank you for showing up. Hope you got a lot out of it. It's great to meet you, Eric.
Great to meet you too.
By the way, your wife's incredible, man. She does everything in the office, has all the PowerPoints, monitors us, keeps us hooligans together. So she's a special lady, man. Thank you.
She is.
Appreciate you guys. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Yeah.
How are you feeling? I know it's big.
Is it broken? I can't feel if it's broken. You got an X-ray on it, right?
No, but do you feel it?
If it's broken?
No, you can't. I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to tell if it's broken. But
I know. I feel the thing that you're talking about. But you can see it in your picture.
It's what hurts me.
When you put a foreign substance in your body, the body starts to create. Yeah.
It's probably your body fighting.
Give me 1 second. Thanks, David. Appreciate you, brother.
Good night, little wife, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
You.
Excited to keep you going, brother. Yes, sir.
I gotta get polish on my feet for
That's right. Yes, sir.